Hi, it's Bob from HeCooksForMe.com. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to put together some easy corned beef and cabbage, but we're going to doctor it up a bit. When we make corned beef, we like to have some leftovers. So this is almost a 4-pound corned beef. For the two of us, definitely some leftovers tonight. And then we also like a Reuben soup that we use the corned beef in as well. And so we'll put that recipe up once we get it done. We first boil the corned beef, just covered in water, and then you take it down to a simmer. And you want to do that with peppercorns, whole cloves, bay leaves, small to medium yellow onion, and garlic. There's also a spice package that comes in with your corned beef, so we'll add that in as well. It just doesn't have enough spice for us, so we like to doctor it up ourselves and give it that extra little punch. It really makes a great corned beef. After it's been in the simmer for about 2 hours, maybe even 2.5, we'll start adding our root vegetables. And we're going to do just potatoes and carrots tonight. You can do turnips, you can do any root vegetables you like. And then right towards the end, about 10 minutes left, we'll just quarter up our cabbage and put it in. You want a pretty good sized pan because you also need room to put all those vegetables and the cabbage in once your corned beef is done. I just put that corned beef in out of the packet and then filled it up. You want to use cold water because you want it to all come to temperature at the same time, and it really brings all the spices and everything back in together with it that way. So in addition to the spice packet, this is a spice packet that comes with the corned beef, and that's just going to get dumped in. But then we like to do some bay leaves. This is a bigger corned beef, so we're going to do 3 bay leaves. You want 2 to 3 probably. And then we have whole cloves, and these are black peppercorns. So on the cloves you want 5 to 7. I'm going to do 6 again because it is kind of a bigger piece of meat. And then on the peppercorns you want 6 to 10 of those, and I did 8 or 9 on this one. So all that's just going to go in together. Then I just quartered a yellow onion, and you just kind of peel those apart and throw those in. And then the other thing going in here right now is garlic, and you're going to want to use probably 5 to 7 cloves of garlic. If they're bigger cloves, we cut them in half, otherwise you can just leave them whole. And so all of that's going to just go in. Once all this is together, we're going to cover it. You want to make sure you do cover it, otherwise your water just evaporates too fast. And then put it over kind of medium to medium-high heat until it starts to bubble. And then we'll bring it way back down into a simmer and just let it simmer for 2.5 hours before the next step. We have about 45 minutes left with our corned beef, and we're going to start putting root vegetables in. Our carrots, if you did turnips, any rutabagas, anything like that, are going to take probably the 45 minutes to get done. We normally like smaller red potatoes than these, but this is what they had available. And we don't like to cut them because as you boil them or simmer them, they actually break apart in your pot. So you want to leave them as whole potatoes. So we're going to put them in earlier. Normally potatoes are about a half hour out, but we're going to put them in at 45 because of the size of these. When you add these into the meat, you want to test the meat with a fork, and if it slides in pretty easy, and you can see that it's just sliding right into that meat. So that means that meat's getting close to done. We're still about 45 minutes out. You don't want to overdo corned beef because it can get tough and dry out, even though it's in the water. So now that as we're adding stuff in, you want to make sure these get completely into the water. Those are our potatoes. And then the carrots all the way around here as well. And we still have about 45 minutes to go. About 15 minutes out, I'm going to throw the cabbage in. But the cabbage doesn't take anywhere near as long to cook as the root vegetables. To get your cabbage ready, you want to peel off the outer couple layers of leaves, just in case they got touched or anything else during shipping, and make sure it's as clean as it can be that way. And then I'm going to cut it in quarters, so just straight through. And then down the half. And you want to cut it with the stem at one end, because then you're going to be able to remove the stem easier That stem that's in there like that, you don't want to use that because it's really tough and bitter. So you want to just cut that piece out and you end up with a piece like that. Our corned beef's been in a little bit over 3 hours and is really tender. When you poke a fork in, it is just completely done. So I'm going to pull it out and give us room to put our cabbage in. And the cabbage will cook just for 10-15 minutes, just a quick cook through. And the corned beef is just going to sit and rest for a little bit to set up before we slice it. Now that corned beef's out of there, I'm going to put my quarters of cabbage in. And because these are these bigger pieces like this, we're going to go for probably 20 minutes even on the cabbage to make sure it gets cooked through and softened up. So the corned beef is set for about 10-15 minutes after we've taken it out of the water, so it's all ready to be carved now. You want to find the grain in the meat. You can see the grain goes across this way on this piece, and then you want to cut across the grain, and that makes it even more tender as you're getting ready to eat it. And you want to just do pretty thin pieces as you go across that grain. If you're not going to use the whole roast for dinner, we like to leave it in a chunk because then it doesn't dry out as much and it's easier to use as leftovers. So our St. Patrick's meal looks like this: the corned beef, that boiled cabbage, carrots, potatoes, and again, any root vegetables that you want to go in on this. Except it's not St. Patrick's Day. We enjoy this meal so much, we'll do it a few times a year. The corned beef is actually a lean cut of beef. It's really tasty. It's relatively healthy for you as a cut of beef goes. And then just the boiled vegetables, very good for you. With our corned beef dinner tonight, we're going to go with a lighter red. With all the flavors going on in this meat, you really want a Pinot Noir, a Zinfandel, maybe a Cab Franc. Even a heavy Zin is probably too much to go with this. So pick a lighter red. A French Beaujolais would be amazing with this. So something along those lines, and your red wine will be perfect with this. Cheers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and consider hitting that red subscribe button. It really helps if you can share my videos with friends and family that might be interested, or watch some of the other videos on my channel. I hope this dish, or one of my other featured dishes, finds its way into your kitchen soon.